Okay. I'm Mariana Santos, and I am a Portuguese designer who have landed in journalism.
Okay.
So for the last 4 years, I've been working at The Guardian, and I started with my mentor, the interactive team,
Okay.
where it was all delivering by experimenting in data visual storytelling.
Okay.
So, so yeah, right now I've been all across Latin America training journalists how to converge journalism, design, and technology all together in order to be able to deliver stories online that will resonate with a broader audience
Okay.
and reach further. And recently I've been hired by Fusion, which is a venture from Disney, ABC, and Univision, to try to target millennials and tell them meaningful stories in a way that it's targeting them.
Right.
Like, so telling stories for millennials,
Okay.
trying to explore and innovate the ways of media storytelling,
Okay.
break with traditions, hopefully. And since the last 2 months, I am a JSK Knight Fellow at Stanford,
Okay.
where I am embedded in a group of 20 journalists from all around the world, trying to change the world and do innovation in journalism. Okay, to be very honest with you, I didn't know what third space was until today, so I'm very happy to have arrived to this conference and to be in contact with Annenberg. And actually, I am here because a friend of mine called Roberto Hernandez is a teacher here, and he suggested me, and I'm so thankful. This is like exactly what I needed to be. And I didn't know about third space, but I think I've always been driving my life in the third space without knowing that this was such thing.
Right.
I thought it was just me being naive and being a girl a little bit in a place where there's not so many of us. So at The Guardian, I was in a group of 180 developers and we were only 3 girls.
Okay.
So I always felt like, am I the only one here, and why aren't more of us?
Right.
So, and this I think is a little bit naiveness and not caring so much of what people think.
Right.
And follow your instinct. So all my life I've been following my instinct. Sometimes I didn't know I could dream about certain things, and then I just dreamed and things start happening.
Right.
And I think that would resonate with my thinking and acting in the third space. So from designer being recruited at The Guardian, I didn't know I could work there, and then suddenly the opportunity appeared. They were like, why not? And I was like, okay, if you give me this opportunity, I'm going to grab it. And it was all the empathy, all the curiosity, and more than skills and techniques, it's the intellectual, emotional intellect,
Right.
how you
Right.
connect with people.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we are working with people.
Right.
Your colleagues at work is your family that you can actually pick if you are lucky to be able to choose your team.
Yeah.
So I think the third space is when you can go beyond skill sets and techniques and processes and go and bring more the human values into the conversation. I think you can teach by example.
Okay.
To be honest, I didn't know, or I didn't learn how to teach empathy. I just feel and consider myself a very empathetic person. The most important thing in my life is people, and how I work with people, how I communicate with people. At the end of the day, I'm telling stories, and this is from people to people, right? So in the events I produce, which for the last year I've done 10 events all across Latin America, I am just myself.
Okay.
I am not trying to impress anyone, and this is me. This is what you see is what you get.
Right. Right.
And then I bring people who share the same values. People I have worked with, they are like leaders of the best media companies around the world, and they share this third space, which most of them, I believe, don't know this is called third
Right.
space. But it's this empathy, this willing to share knowledge, willing to make other people and peers grow with you, and not just keep the knowledge for yourself. There's this philosophy, which is, if you are an A person, you should always hire an A plus person.
Right.
And those people, I think, from the old school and some traditional companies, if you are A, you're gonna eventually recruit a B just so they don't steal your seat, and
Right.
this B will recruit a C, and then you have a culture of mediocrity. So if you are willing to go always up, and don't fear to be passed. And I think the culture of innovation is, you want to work with people better than you, just so you can learn.
Right.
And opening up that if they have to go, they go. But we are all free at the end of the day, and living in this spirit of freedom and knowledge sharing and empathy at the end of the day, I think it's very, very positive, and from this positive feeling will come awesome things. I am millennium by by definition. I'm in that bracket from 18 34 years old, and my target is are the millennials, and they don't actually like to be called like that. They are just young people, young adults, let's say. I think they were born in a digital native culture, so that's why I think the word millennium comes from. So they were not actually. I was born in reading books, like physical books, but the people that are a little bit younger than me, they are totally digital savvy, and the kids that are born today, the babies, they touch iPads, and then when they go and touch a magazine, they get frustrated. So I think that's where this name comes from, and all this conversation around it is because we cannot expect to communicate the way we used to, because everything is changing. We need to adapt, and the technology and the evolution for the future is taking such a faster speed than we as humans can follow. Just some high-tech companies can follow, and that's why the broader conversation is how can we target millennials, how can we talk to them, how can we be where they are and be part of their conversation. So I think we are taking a little bit more time to adapt, because the millennials were just born and they were born like that, and we need to adapt to them. So in Latin America, the millennium concept is there as well, but it's not so much as a focus point as it is, let's say, in developed countries. They have so many other issues that maybe we cannot even imagine if we don't have a close connection with them. So other issues, like I would dare to say they are like 10 years behind in terms of technology, and how they, like I work in news, so how they tell stories online, how they use technology in their everyday work, how they report using the tools we have available. So the conversation is a little bit shifted to that side, but they are catching up very fast, actually. So the focus there is really how can they catch up with technology, not only to serve the millennials, but to adopt techniques in their everyday life labors. So I think, and this is from my pure experience, is nothing comproved. I think they are so empathetic all over. Like, people are really, I would say, more human. They are not shaped and what we have here is access to a culture. For instance, in the California or in the East Coast, there they are more raw, let's say. So they are like much more human centered, human focused. So they don't think so much about that. They are just that, They don't. I would say they don't make so much philosophy around it. They just be it, It's much more raw than here. Yeah, actually, a bunch of them. So curiosity in first place. Like, you need to be curious to go after different things and go out of your comfort zone. Try, be able to fail and accept failure. Like, so many people and companies are risk adverse, and that really stops innovation. In order to innovate, you need to do something different. You need to have a change. So curiosity to begin with, adaptability, because what comes written in the contract is not always what you can expect in reality. So if you are flexible and liquid, and you can adapt and you can embrace frustration, I think that's really important. And most of all, your empathy with others, and not to let your emotional blocks interfere with your everyday professional life. So all these little conflicts that you can find along your way, if you can jump those in order to achieve a common goal, and understand that the person behind you might not be having a great day for whatever reason it is, if you can, instead of be very mad, empathize, and put yourself in each other's shoes, and think, what would it be if I would be in that situation? So empathy, I think, is really important, because it makes everything more human. And at the end of the day, we are made of emotions. And I don't know if it's because I'm a girl or I'm Portuguese, and I'm always been working in a different culture from mine. I always feel like emotional is the best and strongest connection I can establish with people. So that's very important to me.